Leaving the daily regimen and structured life of the military can be difficult for many veterans, even more so when it comes to finding gainful employment as a civilian. Hi, I'm your host, Montel Williams, and today on Military Makeover Operation Career, we have 4 inspirational stories about veterans who found new careers after transitioning from the military. Our first story highlights a company that offers a nationally recognized Veterans Administration apprenticeship program. The folks at Swift Transportation created the Swift Academy Military Scholarship, a program that covers tuition and housing for deserving military veterans.
A leader in the transportation industry is looking for warriors to join their elite driving force. Swift Transportation has been delivering important goods to their customers across the U.S. for over 50 years. They're proud of their driving associates and driver support staff that help keep the economy running smoothly. Qualified drivers and driver support personnel are a commodity, and there's no greater supplier of qualified individuals familiar with dedication, service, and leadership than the brave men and women who've served in the United States Armed Forces. That's why companies like Swift Transportation have made it their mission to help veterans transition from military service into the transportation industry.
My name is Kevin Quast. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Swift Transportation. Swift Transportation is a truckload carrier, so we, along with our sister companies, part of the Swift Holding family, are the largest truckload provider in the entire country. At Swift, hiring military veterans have been an important part of our culture for many, many years. There are many characteristics of people coming from the military that we find to be very attractive and we find to be a very good fit inside our company.
I'm Tina, Marketing and Communications Leader at Swift Transportation. I joined the Air Force straight out of high school. I wanted to see the world and see new things, and the Air Force gave me that opportunity. I was stationed 2 years overseas and 2 years stateside, and then I transitioned out of the military, and I did what I feel most veterans do, is you kind of flounder around looking for that home that you had when you were in the military. And I made my way over to Swift Transportation, and I feel like Swift is the home that the Air Force brought to me.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm a veteran recruiting leader at Swift Transportation. I joined the Air Force after high school, and I just wasn't a college-bound kid, so I always felt that military service was my calling. After I left the Air Force, I had a little bit of a tough time finding a civilian opportunity. When Swift came along, it was really the first opportunity where I saw this as an organization that wants to recognize my military service and put me to work in the place that I best belong. So coming to Swift was just really a blessing.
The reason I would recommend Swift to other veterans is I'm the captain of my ship. You know, I get in my truck, I turn on the key, I know what I'm going to do, I choose how to do it, and I do it safely. And you can give them a zip code of anywhere in the United States that you want to go to, and they'll plan you on a load to that spot. So if you've got buddies from the military that you want to keep in touch with and go visit, give them that zip code, and that's where you'll go do your home time. They're there for you. They know that without the drivers, there wouldn't be a Swift, and they take care of us.
With Swift, I found support everywhere, and I know they're there for me within a phone call. Swift looks at every employee, no matter who they are, as part of their family. Like in my own life, both my parents passed away over the years, and they were right there, and they said, take whatever time you need. Your job is here for you when you get back. You know, I look at Swift as my second family.
One of the reasons why veterans would choose to come work for Swift is we actually train our drivers how to drive trucks. We have Swift academies, and this is a way where you can transition out of the military and go straight into a career as a truck driver, or you can even be one of the office or shop personnel as well. So we walk you through these steps to become successful.
Two of the opportunities that we have here at Swift is we are approved by the VA for a fully set up VA apprenticeship program. So what that means is someone using their GI Bill benefits can come here and for 12 months utilize their GI Bill benefits while they're going through training. The other thing that's very unique to Swift, and this is something I'm very excited about, is we have a Swift Military Scholarship. We offer that to any veteran coming in, as well as their spouse, their dependent, and we even give it to Guard and Reserve. And that is definitely something that sets Swift apart because we're willing to recognize all of those individuals, not just an active duty service member.
The military has been a great resource for us to be able to find great people to join our team who can learn the business and can continue to grow and to advance with us here at Swift.
Swift feels like my family. Swift feels like my home away from home, and I have so much support around me, and it's just a great place to work.
For more information on Swift Transportation, please check out their website at swifttrans.com.
Our next story centers on a company that is actively looking for veterans and active military to fill its ranks. This company has a state-of-the-art database that helps veterans find positions that match their specific skill set. This has worked out so well that this pharmaceutical company now has over 500 veterans working in roles ranging from senior scientist to global security director. You're not going to want to miss this.
Merck manufactures pharmaceutical products, and we distribute those products around the globe. I'm Sandy Milligan, and I head up an organization called Regulatory Affairs and Clinical Safety. We put innovation and science first, as well as our patients. The patient's interest is at the top of our core values. It's incredible. We have products that create generational change in people's health.
My name is Craig Masseri, and I have been a Merck employee for 17 years. Currently, I work as a director in vaccine operations. Okay, I'll set up a meeting then. So I graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point back in 1996. And I have served on both active duty and in the National Guard ever since. Coming out of West Point, I was commissioned as an infantry officer.
I went in the military right after high school. My name is Sheila Carter. I'm an associate director and I work in oncology launch excellence. I'm a launch leader. I did not serve overseas. I served at Walter Reed in the capacity of supporting Desert Storm.
During my first year at medical school, I was fortunate enough to discover that the military had scholarships for health professionals that were in school. Hi Lois, can we go over the calendar for Monday? Absolutely. I graduated in 1990, and it was during the Iraq War Desert Storm. So it was challenging taking care of folks that were coming out from the Middle East.
I was deployed to Iraq, had to deal with the roadside bombs and the improvised explosive devices, still had rocket attacks to see our fair share of enemy activity.
It was the first time experiencing soldiers coming back, especially with Desert Storm. It was truly the first time that I experienced post-traumatic stress disorder, and we all could feel the pain of loss, pain of watching your fellow soldiers not return with you. Is not something that I'd ever want to see again.
There's a lot of veterans here at Merck. Some of the most rewarding work I did in the military was helping support families of military, working every generation in the military. And I feel at time Merck has that same relationship. There are people at Merck that I work with that are second and third generation Merck employees. So I think it is similar in the sense of having a mission-driven organization.
A lot of the skills that I learned and honed in the military, I was able to take with me and apply to the roles that I have been in at Merck. Merck actually has what's called a Veterans EBRG an employee business resource group. And the EBRG is really focused on building a community of veterans and veteran supporters to not only hire veterans, but also to support the veterans that are members in terms of professional development.
Merck is a great company, and they also support veterans with an employee business resource group, of which I co-lead.
To help them transition from their military life to a civilian work life.
It helps to ease some of those transition challenges.
We send packages to troops, stuff to the USO. It's always supporting veterans and their families.
We have a number of people who have joined our EBRG who didn't directly serve, but they recognize the importance of service and recognize the importance of being able to transition our folks from a veteran's life to a civilian life.
It's really a very vibrant community of not only veterans, but veteran supporters. I'm proud to be a member of that organization.
I feel very fortunate to work in this area. It's just, it's so humbling.
Since 9/11, I have been on multiple deployments and activations. Didn't have to worry about if my family was going to be taken care of back home. And that is, once again, a true testament to Merck's military-friendly policies and their unwavering commitment to reservists and National Guardsmen in the company.
Florida is known as the Sunshine State, but it could just as easily be called the Veteran State. This state has created a nonprofit corporation, Veterans Florida, to help veterans transition to civilian life. They provide career, entrepreneurial, and back-to-school programs, which are all aimed at helping military personnel separate from the service.
Here at Veterans Florida, we work with veterans to identify veteran-friendly employers that they can transition to upon leaving the service, or if they've already been out for a few years and still are trying to find that next career path.
So my story is a bit of a long one. The reason I left the military is that I had a bad parachute fall. We were doing a practice of an airfield seizure, and I messed up my ankle pretty bad. Then I went to Italy for 2 years to recover, and my injuries were severe enough that they elicited a medical board, and so I received a honorable medical discharge. Reaching out to Veterans Florida, I submitted my resume, and through their website, we did what was called a pre-screen, where he asked me a bunch of questions about what I was looking for, where I'm looking, and then we corresponded back and forth a few times. He would tell me, oh, I have this position that's open.
My job as the employer outreach specialist is to, at the end of the day, create employment opportunities for veterans, trying to understand how a veteran can fit into their company. There is always in the back of their mind some of those fears. The mental issues, are they going to be a good employee? Are they going to stay there? The reality is most of these veterans are highly talented and wanting to come and work, but they have a difficult time explaining that, explaining maybe how their experiences fit into that company's goals and fit into that company's industry. We help these veterans break down their resumes in a way that the HR managers want to see it.
We're constantly opening doors with employers that have not necessarily thought about hiring veterans, but when we talk to them about the transferable skills in addition to the intangibles, the employers get very excited, and it's very rewarding to sort of see that click within the employer. I first came across Justin through a friend. He was having difficulty with his next transition. When Justin came to us for assistance, I noticed that he had a lot of coaching in his background.
So I got my baccalaureate degree in music education and had taught in public schools in Colorado. I was also a personal trainer and a weightlifting coach. We
actually had an opening on our team, and he didn't know about it.
Finding Veterans Florida, I ended up actually working there, which is fantastic. I'm a veteran employment specialist, so I take them from the initial contact all the way through job placement.
Veterans Florida, this is Justin. How may I help you?
These are real human beings with a real story and real need. It gives me even more pride to just because, to be able to help somebody, who is struggling, it's very important to me personally.
I would say to any veteran who is just beginning their transition, or any service member who's even about 12 months out, don't give up. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and working with the right team can help you identify that right opportunity to take that next step.
Relocations are all too common when serving in the military. Not only does it affect the military member, it impacts their families and working spouses as well. This company recognizes the sacrifices the folks in the military and their spouses make, and they've developed a program that helps people in the legal profession keep their jobs and work remotely.
A leader in legal technology services and managed document review is looking for a few good military spouses. Husbands and wives of active personnel earn 26% less and face unemployment at a rate over 4 times greater than their civilian counterparts, because military families typically move every 2 to 3 years. That's why companies like TCDI have made it their mission to offer reliable and flexible career opportunities to active military spouses in the legal industry from anywhere in the country.
We started TCDI in Northern Virginia as one of the thousands of government contractors up there. I've been a programmer for 30 years, and that's my background. As part of that, we got into large-scale databases and dealing with large data. And one of the largest collections of data you can run across is in large-scale litigation, and that's how we got into litigation support and developing software specifically for lawyers to use, and that's how we got into the review business.
We do everything from cybersecurity to forensics, litigation management, and document review. So we have a variety of different clients. We work with clients in the tobacco industry, pharmaceuticals, automotive. When you're married to the military, you get PCSed or moved every 2 to 3 years pretty much. It's going to be somewhere different. It could most likely be in a different state. And again, for an attorney, that's really tough, because then you've got to take that new state bar exam. You've got to study for it, which is 6 months of time off for studying, and then waiting for results, and then hoping that you pass on the first try with all these things that may or may not have been taught to you in law school, because the law being tested is different than what you learned. So it's very challenging for each move. When I came on board, I said, I know that military spouses face this challenge. I went through it. I know there's more people out there. I know that document review, as long as we can get the message out and really, work on that, something that would really benefit a lot of people. It's not just me. There's got to be more spouses in my situation.
Brian is a remote employee at TCDI who not only is a veteran, he's been a military spouse as well.
So I entered the military out of high school, and I served active duty, and then I left active duty, went to the reserves, went back on active duty. I met my wife in the military. My wife and I married in 2000. So I've been a military spouse for several years. When I retired in 2013, I was looking for new opportunities to do document review. I fortunately found the opportunity through the Military Spouse Managed Review program. We meaning my wife and I, were living north of Chicago at a military base. And so upon her retiring, we decided to move west, and San Francisco in particular, and I wanted to continue doing document review. And so the opportunities were much more limited. I'm not licensed in California. It's a smaller city. And so for me, having that remote opportunity was even more important.
The people that we've been introduced to, the reviewers that we've been able to get to join the team, have just been terrific people. I mean, you get the background that they're military spouses, that they're making the sacrifice to their spouses and to the country. They work hard, and they're smart. I mean, they're not looking for a handout. They actually have superior capabilities in the legal industry. It's just hard for them to find work.
For more information on TCDI's Military Spouse Managed Review Program, please check out their website at tcdi.com.
Change is never easy, but it's good to know that there are companies out there that recognize that veterans are goal-oriented and have a strong desire to get the job done. I'm Montel Williams, and thank you for joining me on this episode of Military Makeover, Operation Career.